latest version of our amplifier U280 that has been 30 years since we began developing it. This is a full Class A amplifier, servo-active. You don't require to adjust the bias. It will adjust it. It's not very hot, the tube, because the signal is the one that the bias the tube, not the tube itself. So that warranties that the tube will always operate in the proper area. Also, we do not use nothing of negative feedback on the circuit, so it will follow our philosophy, which is we call it ANA. It's acoustic neurological alignment. So the idea of this is that we prioritize the harmonic structure over the fundamental. So until now, most of the people, when they develop amplifiers and things, they prioritize the fundamental, and that's how we measure THD and everything. But in the real life, the brain does not work like that. We put attention into near field sounds. So our brain is trained into that, and also that information, which is a near field, engages our brain to it, because that will affect us immediately. And the characteristic of a near field sound is that all the harmonics are on phase in the moment it is burned. That makes our connection between our brain to the sound source. Also happens with music and a concert hall or whatever. When you have a violin near you, you would put attention into it. If it's far away and it has reflections, your brain discharges it and doesn't engage to it. So engaging sound has to be with the richness of the harmonics. And the idea behind the philosophy of design is that the harmonics would be, respected and taken care. That said, it implies a different approach into the design, because you can't use feedback, you can't use several things that changes the harmonic structure through correction circuits. Always has a cue that implies or adds harmonics into the signal, which changes the tonal characteristics. One of the things that you can see, this is a very small amplifier. It's 25 watts per channel right now as in triode, but has a huge dynamic range, because we do not use this feedback, and we use techniques to avoid the changes on the harmonics. The fundamental is not as important as of the harmonics. You can even take from a note on a piano, the fundamental note, like a C, the 440. You take out the 440 cycles and you still hear that noise, just because of the harmonics. So even so, that's why the amplifiers, the preamps, and all the stuff gives you that sensation of naturalness, easiness, dynamics, and also it's very organic in sound. That say that also the speakers has these speakers are from radio, and because the way they are designed, they are able to take out this richness of sound that we are looking for. So that's what you perceive, and you can play any kind of music and it will always be engaging to you, and you will be related to this music source.
And the price point on this piece?
This is 12,000. You can strap it in triode, ultralinear.
Okay.
You can use it in mono or stereo, or you can even play it direct from a source.
And what is the gauge for? Just
the gauge gives you the idea of the bias.
Okay.
Which is
but it
changing.
auto biases, but you
no,
don't.
it's not auto bias.
Okay.
It's active servo bias. As I said, it biases the tube by the signal. So we'll always operate as a full class A with efficiency of an AB. So that's why I was touching it, because we do not overdrive them, because you start working with the tube, it's like a valve. So it starts opening and closing with the signal. So it will always have the complete cycle amplified. And also you can strap it in stereo or mono, so if you have two, you can have double the power. And also we have here, this is the small version of the units. It's like a resume of all the other ones. It's an integrated amplifier, so you don't need nothing except your source. It's remote control, very basic, so you have 3 inputs and a volume control and on and off. It has exactly the same idea of this one.
It's the same, it's actually the same electronic circuit, but a smaller box with a preamp built in and just 3 input, 3 outputs. And you have the power, so it's 25 watts on ultralinear, and it's a very efficient way to have the highest end possible in a small place like an apartment, let's say New York City or in Europe, Spain, wherever you have also a size. That size matters.
And also the price point is more accessible.
Well, plus also it doesn't put out a lot of heat because you're not running them super hot like a space heater would be with a lot of tube amps. Yeah.
Correct.
So you still need to buy a heater if it's cold.
Yes.
Which is good when it's hot.
Sometimes good, yeah. And you have a new power conditioner you're
Yes.
showing?
Yes, this power conditioning has a DC offset correction,
Oh, really?
and also has a high frequency noise rejection and auto transformers that the changes on the voltage would be mitigated.
So you put DC offset protection even though you're not using toroids or anything in the...
No,
May I step in, Julian? The problem that we develop it mainly is because we have many clients and that either have an LED light on or a dimmer as well, or they have the electric that they build in the house that have either a fridge or whatever, so it's not source professional for an audio. So we wanted to mitigate that, because either you don't build a house for an audio room.
Right,
you have a room where you put your audio and might have some problems. So we wanted to mitigate that. It had happened in Mexico, it had happened in certain places.
Yeah.
So, and you always think it's either the equipment or whatever, when it's the light source that you have. With that, we avoid all that kind of problem. You protect the equipment itself, but also you mitigate the problem of any light, high frequency noise or DC created by the dimmer grounding or a bad installation as well.
But even if you don't have tube amps or your amps, this might be a good piece for people that have toroid amps that are humming the actual toroid hum.
Yeah,
That's usually because of that.
Not only the toroids, all of them. Any transformer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it will make a noisy one. With this, it improves dramatically.
So that's nice to have that. What's the price point on that?
It's still to be, but it should be
under 2,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be
And it looks like you've got, how many outlets there?
So the new version will have 4 outlets in analog, which have a 15 amp
15
output, and then the 10 amp output will have another 4, and then you have a direct that it's on switch, so that also works as a switcher to turn on and off everything.
Yeah.
You'll have another 2, so it'll be a total of 10.
Wow, okay.
And this works along with the preamplifier that has an output, so you can turn it on and off with the
So you've got one switch for every, yeah, that's great.
And and it's 3 independent filters, so when you are using
It's isolated from each other then.
Correct.
Great job, yeah.
Yeah, and we also have the media server
Okay,
that
yeah.
you can play a hard disk drive or any USB music device, a memory stick, and you
Looks
can
good.
stream music into it as well with different service that you are on, like Cobos or
Right.
Tidal or whatever.
And the price point on that?
That's still a prototype.
Still a prototype? Okay.
Still working on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have also the turntable, which I think you
Yeah, I've
already
seen
know.
that before, yeah.
Yeah, and the phono stage, which is a nice piece that has no feedback in it. The correction of the RIA, it's done through passive stages with amplification. And we have the Bluetooth, which actually sounds quite nice.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We can play it for you if you want to.
That's hard.
It
I mean,
is high resolution, but the most important thing is the analog section of it.
gotcha. No, it sounds great, and always you provide super high performance for the money, and this shows no exception.
May I point out the integrated amplifier behind you?
Yeah, let's see
That's
it.
our integrated, that's a hybrid design. It has two 1287 vacuum tubes for the preamplification section, okay?
Right.
And this is a wonderful unit in as much as that it also follows what Julian described as the ANA philosophy of design behind engineering, ANA being the aligned neuroacoustics,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to bring about the application of the physics, but following again that design philosophy, which is based on our physiological capture and processing and reaction to sounds, right? And the point is that here you have a really nice unit because you have really good power, 100 watts per channel. You have multiple inputs. You have your pre-out. You can hook up a subwoofer. It even comes with a good phono stage. I mean, as with integrated, it's normally the phono stage is there because
Afterthought,
it's good,
yeah.
but it's something that
Right.
you'll want to eventually add another one. But it's a good starting phono stage. So you have a really good package here, very robust as well, and $4,500 really
All
brings
in
you
one.
into that realm of the musical sound. That
Are you doing these
about.
stands too?
These were custom for showroom and demonstrations. We're not in a continuous production.
Gotcha.
And in fact,
They
these
cost the
bases.
same as the amplifier.
Do they? Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and to us, so
Yeah.
because
Okay,
they're
yeah,
hand
so-
machine
Yeah.
built, so
Not
it's
worth
not
doing that, yeah.
Yeah, we won't get into
Yeah.
the thousands and thousands of dollars of
okay.
stands business.
We don't distribute them, but I'd like to point out the butcher block wooden bases that we have throughout. They're very sturdy, very nice. They come with various footers for sound absorption. Importantly, what we also distribute, the RSX power cables.
The cables,
and,
yeah.
And the phono cable, okay? And those are also excellent products along with the Rido speakers, everything through AV Luxury Group.
Excellent.
And-
Well,
Yes, what else?
We'll play some music.
yeah, might as well just listen to some music
All right.
next.
Yeah.
Thank you.